What's up you guys, it's Simon. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is obviously going to be a story time, but real quick before we get into this story, obviously I would like to mention that the Draw This in Your Style is almost over. It will be ending in 4 days on July 24th, so if you've not had a chance to participate yet, now would be absolutely the time to do so. You can check out my video on it, or you can check out my post on Instagram for more information about how to enter. Again, if you've already entered and noticed that I have not commented, liked, or featured your work on my story yet, leave a comment down below letting me know where I can find your entry, especially if you're on Amino. That way I don't miss a chance to enter and feature you. And just like always for these sorts of videos, if you're interested in this line art, remember to go and check out my Patreon. The link will be in the description. If you pledge $5 or more a month, you can access oh my goodness, you can access a download of this line art, a bunch of wallpapers, and a shout out at the end of my videos. Also, real quick, there's going to be several disclaimers in this video, but this first one I want to say is I recently got a mini fridge, so if you hear him turn on and whir a bit, I cannot control that, and I'm very sorry. Another quick disclaimer, if you're an older fan of my channel, you might notice that I have told this story before about a year ago, but I wanted to share it again, and this time with screenshots, because I did not know that my husband had them, and also because there are a lot more of you now, and this experience was insane, and I just feel like it deserves a retelling. I do want to mention as a sort of trigger warning that there are mentions of incest towards the end of this story, so if this is a trigger for you, please click off and tune in for this Thursday's video where I will be designing characters based off of random words you guys gave me on Instagram. I love you and I will see you then. So, into this story, a while ago back in 2019, I used to stream pretty often on Twitch. For a month or so, I was streaming about twice a week, and then it trickled down to once, and now I don't really stream much at all. But this was during my peak streaming time. My streams were starting to get a decent amount of views, and I was starting to feel a little bit art blocked and some pressure as to what I should be creating on stream, so I decided to open requests. And y'all know that this normally garnered some pretty lighthearted and silly prompts. For example, during Mermaid, I will always remember that y'all made me draw a mermaid with Garfield nipple piercings, and that magical girl Garfield with Godzilla Barbie still haunts my dreams. Did I say silly? I should have just said Garfield. It was always Garfield until this day. So essentially the day before this stream that the incident occurred, I had to end my stream early because everything that could go live or go wrong with a live stream went wrong essentially. So I promised that the next day I would be taking requests as a bonus stream to make up for all of the technical issues of this one. So again, I'm taking requests, fully expecting the Garfield oddities to start rolling in because Garfields were so frequent that at one point someone had entered the chat and asked if I was that artist that draws Garfield a lot. So I guess it was sort of my thing by that point. Initially I began the stream working on the magical girl Garfield because I had already anticipated that that's what everyone wanted. I had been talking about refining it a little bit and making it more of a refined illustration, and then a little over half an hour into this stream, someone pops in and I take the second to mention, you know, that I don't have any requests lined up, so if they have one, feel free to let me know and I'll start working on it. So they ask if I can draw their furry OCs, which, like, not an issue. I don't normally do furries for commissions because I'm not very good at anthro stuff, but I figured since it was a request, I'll just tell them within them, like, hey, I'm not the best at anthro, but if you want me to give it a shot, I will. I'll probably make them a little more humanoid, obviously more in my style, but if that's cool with you, I'm more than happy to do it. So they sent me some screenshots and posts from their DeviantArt, and they were your standard, you know, run-of-the-mill, cool-looking Sonic OCs. So I'm like, cool, these guys look really neat. And he wants me to draw these characters. There's a girl and a boy, and he wants me to do a family portrait of them and make some designs for their kids. So it's a lot for a request, but considering I wasn't really getting any others and I try to keep my streams to about 2 hours, I didn't mind doing a more detailed sketch. So I start sketching them, and to my surprise, it's actually coming out kind of cute. I really liked how everyone's proportions were looking, and the kids were looking really adorable. In fact, everything was coming out so adorable that I decided, like, hey, I want to actually color these because like I really like this and I'm having fun working on it. And so as I was working on it, at one point I was looking at the references and I started finishing up the husband character. And he has a certain detail that I will not mention because I don't want y'all finding the person who made the request. But basically, the detail that the husband has, he's asked me to also add to the wife character, which makes them look kind of matchy, which I didn't really catch as a red flag because I'm like, I wear matching outfits with my husband. I don't know much about furries. Maybe it's the same thing. So this didn't really read as a red flag until after I get to this point. So I get to the colors. I start coloring in the husband who had a color reference on DeviantArt, and then I go to ask him like, hey, the wife is just a sketch. Like, it was like a black and white sketch. It didn't have any color or anything. So I was like, what does her color scheme look like? And keep in mind, I've been working on this piece for like minimum 45 minutes and I really, really like it. And I am about to paint this because I like it that much. So I get all excited to start, finishing up. And then he tells me this. And again, trigger warning for incest. This is when he drops the bombshell. If this is something that bothers you, please stay safe and click off. I don't know if you clicked off the first time, but if you didn't and this is something that's gonna trigger you, please click off. Stay safe. I love you. I'll see you Thursday. So he tells me after everything is nearly finished that they have the same color scheme because they are brother and sister. And I'm like, what? I like genuinely froze. Thank God I don't have cameras on my screen or like on my streams, so you couldn't see my facial expression. You could not see any piece of me. I was trying so hard to keep it calm. I immediately just stopped drawing and I zoomed to the chat. There is just this like intense fear that is coursing through my body. So I'm typing and I'm like, oh, haha, I thought you said they were husband and wife. Like, and I'm thinking like there must be like some communication error on my part. He told me to draw this male character and this female character and two of their children. He specifically said draw their children. He said husband and wife and their children. So I'm like, wait. Like I have to have gotten confused at some point. And he unfortunately clarifies that yes, they are husband and wife. And yes, I am drawing their kids. And I'm like, but you said they're siblings. And he said, yes. I think this is word for word what he said. He said, he is her brother and she is his sister. And he continues and he says, and they're married. And I'm just like, oh my God. And thank God my mic was not working for this stream because I would not have been able to be chill about this. Even remembering this feeling, this incident, this occurrence, whatever you want to call it, this point in time, the amount of just raw energy that filled my body, I would not have been able to do anything other than scream, and had my mic been on, it would have been a disaster. So, literally, there's no way to keep calm after this. I'm freaking out, and immediately, my husband and my best friend, who are both watching my stream, start messaging me on Facebook, and everybody's losing their mind, and I'm crying, because, like, what do I do? Y'all know I have the most, like, major anxiety. I did not have any idea how I was supposed to, react to something like this. How was I supposed to say, like, nope, this drawing's canceled, leave the stream right now, immediately, please? I'm freaking out. I'm rapidly typing, asking my friend and my husband, I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I do not want to finish this drawing anymore. Like, I'm severely uncomfortable with the fact that I have just unknowingly drawn incest for this guy. He literally waited until the very last second, essentially, to tell me, like, oh, they're brother and sister. There's no way I'm finishing that. So what do I do? I know he's still watching the stream because I can see him in the chat, and at this point I was still somewhat new to streaming, so I didn't have a mod, I didn't know how to kick people, so I'm just at a loss. But then a stroke of genius occurs, and I remember yesterday's stream, we had so many technical difficulties. Today, my mic is not working. Who's to say another technical difficulty will not occur? In particular, one of the technical difficulties happened to be my Wi-Fi knocking out right in the middle of a boss battle. If y'all are like, if you would watch my previous Twitch streams, y'all would have known that on one day I would do art videos and on one I would do gaming, and I was right in the middle of a Sans battle because yes, I was playing Undertale. It's a great game, I love it very much, and the Wi-Fi happened to knock out, and so I was like, I guess that's it for the stream today, sorry. But anyway, so the Wi-Fi knocking out would end the stream, so I was like, perhaps that could happen now. So I text my husband and my friend, and keep in mind, this is like mic off, nobody's drawing on screen, I'm not doing anything, I'm not even in the chat anymore. I've been just like solid, essentially frozen for a couple minutes. So I text my husband and my friend, and I'm like, well, I guess the stream is about to crash. And I just gently reach over and turn the power button off on my computer and shut everything down. I didn't close OBS or anything, I just force shut everything down. Because when I tell you like how I felt in this moment, like literally no thoughts, head empty, I did not think to close OBS or to correctly shut down my computer. I was just like, this needs to be over now, push, and then I turned it off. I stayed out of chat and I watched the absolute horror unfold. I'm sure I've been placing at least a few screenshots somewhere. I'm not 100% sure how many screenshots there are, just because again my husband is the one that has them and I'm filming this voiceover before those are being placed, so I'm paraphrasing, and also like, you know, it's been a year since this happened, but basically I watched this guy to my memory and he's like, what happened? And my lovely husband and friend are like, oh no, looks like the stream crashed. Ooh, woo, what a shame. And that was like, luckily the end of it, I just immediately bounced off of Twitch, and every once in a while we all will collectively freak out about this incident. So yeah, not really, I don't know how much of a satisfying ending that is. I literally just pretended to make the stream crash. I don't know how the guy reacted to it beyond being like, oh, what happened? I have no idea, but all I know is that this was like literally one of the worst experiences I've ever had. It's part of the reason why I immediately afterwards implemented a bunch of rules in regards to when requests were open on Twitch, so yeah. But if you're interested in streaming on Twitch despite this experience, I would really recommend it. I had a lot of fun on there. All I want to say is that if you guys do intend to stream on Twitch, do your research and always make sure you know how to include mods in the chat, or at the very at the very least, some rules, and have a stream buddy like my friend was that can help you think of a quick exit strategy so that you're not caught up in something like this. Granted, of course, we didn't know what we were getting into until the very end of the illustration, so if you're going to be doing something like commissions or requests, take care to always get as much info on the characters as you can before starting your illustration, because I could not imagine how I would have felt had this been a commission. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening all the way through if you did. I'm sorry if this was a bit of a longer one, but I hope that it was fun for y'all nonetheless. Again, the Draw This in Your Style is almost over, so be sure to check out the info on that, as well as the Patreon where you guys can snag up this line art and color it for yourself. You can also get a shout out alongside awesome people like Elise Thompson. Thank you so much for continuing to support me every single week. Also, again, I keep mentioning this, I think I'm gonna set it to like possibly like a goal once I get a certain amount of patrons that I'll be doing the postcards and the stickers. That way I have like the funds to be able to ship that out for you guys. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I am still working on those details, so if that's something that you are interested in, those will be added alongside all of the other cool things that are currently on Patreon. So yeah, anyways, I love you guys, and I will see y'all this Thursday. Bye. Wow.